Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, and my friends, today we're going to talk some Virtua Fighter. So a few days back, Virtua Fighter 5 got a pretty major balance patch. For a fighting game that is just shy of 20 years old, it's been getting a good amount of patches in the last couple of years actually. And the thing is, hey, remember Virtua Fighter 6? Remember that game that was like seemingly announced a million years ago and we still kind of don't know anything about? The producer said we would have more news when the snow melted, and I looked outside and the snow's gone, but we ain't got no news on Virtua Fighter 6. We do have a Virtua Fighter special event sometime this year, later this year. You'd assume there'd be something Virtua Fighter 6 there, maybe? We just don't know. And you know, I guess for someone who's waited for years and years and years for Virtua Fighter 6, I guess I can wait a few more years to figure out what they're actually going to do with the game. But yeah, it's been a while. But for the most recent patch to Virtua Fighter 5 Revo, they have made some big changes. And I'm talking more like plus or minus a frame here or there for a character, or maybe a new combo here or there for a character. They have made massive, fundamental gameplay and mechanics shifts. Usually, that's not what you do with a fighting game about 20 years into its life. By then, the rules are sort of the rules, right? But that's what I want to talk about, and that's what I want to highlight in this video. So rest assured, this is actually like, I'm the patch guy, right? This is a big patch. I'll have the patch notes for you in the video description if you want to check every little change. And I do want to highlight some cool things. Like, hey, we have a Wi-Fi indicator now. That's great. We got some old moves returning, like Jeffrey's choke slam. Jeffrey also got a lot of buffs, by the way. Jeffrey, the winner of the patch, I think is very fair to say. But the things I want to talk about are two changes. One is definitely like a more high-level conceptual change, but definitely has some people up in their feelings about it. And the other one is a huge change in that it changes how stagger works. So what's stagger? Well, stagger is the single worst mechanic in the game. And what do you mean worst mechanic? It's this guy right here. So everyone knows I'm a Virtua Fighter shill. I'm not here to give you nuanced or balanced takes on the game. I'm here to shill Virtua Fighter and throw every single other fighting game under the bus if it makes Virtua Fighter look at all better. But stagger sucks. It's a relic of a day gone by. It has no place in modern fighting games. So when you're staggered, and different moves stagger on different qualifications, but you can see the little arcade stick moving, right? So once you see it turn red, the idea is you gotta hit all sorts of buttons and movements, and it'll give you control of your character back. You lose control of the character, can't block, can't do anything until it goes away. And the reality is this. Like, if you get staggered, you're probably eating some kind of combo, right? And depending on the character and depending on how fast the opponent is, that combo can be like pretty sizable, right? For something that you effectively blocked correctly and you're still gonna eat crap on it. And say we set the bot here, stagger recovery fastest timing, right? So now that launcher I just did, the blocking time, you know, no big deal, right? But that's the CPU. Human beings cannot break as fast as the CPU realistically 99 times out of 100, right? So there's just a lot of guaranteed situations where if you're even the littlest asleep at the wheel, or if your fingers just aren't fast enough to mash as many inputs as possible in that short amount of time frame, you're going to be eating a lot of damage. And they did not remove stagger, but they definitely got rid of like almost all the major cases of it. So say like Wolf. Charge, punch, kick on block. Stagger, you're done. Now, here we are in the current patch build of the game, and charge, punch, kick, the big chop, no longer staggers. And again, stagger's not fully gone out of the game, but basically every major staggerable move now causes a guard break effectively. So if you block this, there's still a penalty for blocking this. Like, I can get like punch, kick for free guaranteed, at minimum. And depending on the character, depending on the move, like it's plus 15, the guard break here for Wolf. So I can get back punch, the elbow. So if you block the chop, okay, I can get a smaller combo, but I can't quite get that full giant launch I could before. Or say, this is back to the previous build of the game here, Jeffrey forward kick guard, big axe kick. So if you block this, you're staggered, and if you don't break fast enough, like, you potentially just lost the round. In fact, like, you can take a lot of damage. Now, in the current build of the game, no more stagger. You're plus 13, so, like, you can get a little bit of guaranteed damage. You get, at minimum, like, punch kick in, right? So, there's a reward, but the insane rewards of some characters of launcher into tons of damage, or just so much corner carry into, like, a wall combo or ring out, no more. So, once again, I always thought stagger was a bad mechanic. I thought it was a relic. This is an old game. I'm not here to say Virtua Fighter 5 is a brand new, you know, young buck game. It definitely ain't. But the fact that they got rid of this straight up for, like, most of the use cases of the mechanic in the game makes me really wonder if this is where they want to go with, say, a Virtua Fighter 6. Because, yeah, Virtua Fighter 5, once again, not a new game, but it's still getting new players all the time. It just came out on Switch 2 the other day as well, right? So there's always new people kind of joining in for the ride for the game. And to be real, stagger is not a mechanic that wins over new players. Now, there's that, and I think that's a very big change and a hint at what might be happening in Virtua Fighter 6, in that there just won't be mechanics like this. Maybe if you want to call it simplification, I don't know. We've made videos in the past where, like, hey, weight combos might be different in Virtua Fighter 6, because like, the fact there's so many weights and so many sub weights, and, like, okay, Jeffrey and Wolf are heavyweights, but a combo might work on Jeffrey and it might not work on Wolf, and, like, all that. Then there's Taka and all that kind of stuff, right? I don't know, some unification across the board, I think, might be what's going on here, and that's this. Now, there's also evade, dash, cancel, which got changed up pretty big. So they changed how evade, dash, cancel works. So evade is really easy in Virtua Fighter. It's, of all the 3D fighters, probably the easiest to understand. If a move is coming at you at all and you evade it. Done. It's 100% invincible while a move is coming out. It's literally that simple. It doesn't matter what character you are. Doesn't matter how wide or how thin your character is. If you're a little French princess or a big bear like in Tekken, if you evade while a move is coming out, you're invincible. Done. Like, it's literally that easy, right? The idea, though, is if you get caught evading, like, you did it too early, like you did, there's nothing to actually evade, then you get hit, then we start running into problems. So move here, Sarah, stand, kick. It's totally fine, right? And it tracks to one way only. So I can still evade it one way. But if I try to evade it the other way, I get hit. And notice here, when it hits regularly, nothing. But if it hits me while I'm evading, it becomes a launcher. It becomes a combo starter. So it's like, okay, I did the hard call out, so therefore I get a reward. I'm effectively counter hitting you with my kick, and I get a combo starter because I called out which direction you are going to evade in. And the thing about evade is this. So when you evade, you can't cancel into, like, block. You have to wait for it to be finished. But you can cancel it into other movement. So I can go, like, evade, backdash. So I can go like this, get, like, box step movement, right? If I so wanted to, right? It doesn't matter too much, realistically. But the one that does matter is I can evade, cancel the evade into crouch dash. Which means, since I'm crouching, 3D Fighter rules, I'm now evading highs. And now, all of a sudden, these anti-step moves, you know, most of them are highs. I can now whiff my evade, which ideally should be punishable, but I can cancel that recovery into the crouch dash, and now evade linear attacks. And if I didn't evade a linear attack and just evade it into nothing, I can then still evade high attacks. So in this scenario here, this is the older build of the game. Jeffrey is doing 4-4 kick guard, it's a plus on block kick. There's not tons of plus frames in Virtua Fighter compared to other 3D fighters. And then he's going for his fastest side tracking move, just stand kick. And so it's available one way. And on paper, if you sidestep into the way it does hit, you should get bopped and kicked in the head. That's how it's supposed to work, except for that. I can cancel the recovery of my failed evade, and even though the move that's designed to hit me going in that direction came out, since I canceled the recovery, I'm now ducking underneath it and don't actually get hit. And this move has caused some controversy because for Virtua Fighter 5, this is just how this stuff has worked for the longest time. So now under the current patch, it doesn't work the same way. It's not to say it can't work anymore, But now, if you evade and then try to cancel your evade into other movement, it takes a few more frames than it did before. So now, if you're called out like extra hard on a fairly quick tracking move, you can't just option select your way out of it. And again, some people are very for this, some people are very against this, because this is just how the game has worked for the longest time. And I definitely see this being a change for something like Virtua Fighter 6, where this multi-layered, like effectively option select, slip through layers of offense kind of stuff shouldn't persist into a new modern game. Option selects removing layers of strategy from fighting games in, I'd say, like the last 10 years or so of modern game development has been something very frowned upon. Like, if you can do it, it gets patched out of the game. And now, here we are a million years later, and it's sort of getting patched out of Virtua Fighter 5. It still exists, just the option is now slower than it used to be. So more frame tight, like the opponent, or rather you, the player, is more negative versus the opponent doing the move. You're now less likely to sneak away and get away scot-free. Now, realistically, gameplay-wise, for Virtua Fighter 5, this really only mattered at like the highest levels of play. But still, you know, it's depth. You could argue it's not good depth, or like, I don't know. I'm not here to argue the merits of the tech. It's just, it existed and it's how the game's been for a long time, right? And now, while it still exists, it is heavily curtailed because it's no more get out of jail free like it's been for quite some time. Now, keep in mind, just in case you don't know, that beats strikes. Throws still track. You cannot sidestep a throw. That never worked that way. And generally, with very few exceptions, throws are the fastest attacks in Virtua Fighter. But still, it's different, and a lot of people have some thoughts about it. But it's weird and hard, and I think going into Virtua Fighter 6, they want to focus on what makes Virtua Fighter, the core basics, not so much the weird and hard stuff. So I think that is omen for the future, for whenever, hopefully this year, we get more Virtua Fighter 6 news. So that's some highlights. There's been some very big changes in this patch, and I just wanted to highlight some of the things that I think have some bearing on how Virtua Fighter 6 may turn out. If you want the full patch notes, they're linked for you in the video description, and I thought it would just be interesting to talk about and showcase. And of course, whenever we do get Virtua Fighter 6, whenever that's gonna friggin' be, I'll cover it, don't worry. But till then, just wanted to highlight this, and well, I guess we'll leave it at that. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Virtua Fighter.
Love